This conference will now be recorded.
Today, basically partial budget billing. There are basically three types of procedures what you can use in the case of budget billing: the partial, statistical, and the payment plan. At the moment, we are doing partial budget billing. So you need to understand in what way the posting will happen to financial accounting. Now, when you prepare the invoice, along with the invoice for the particular month, that is the previous month, it also prepared a budget billing plan for the future months. That means December we have done the billing and that is the consumption billing. Now from January onwards till November, there will be a budget billing plan. And in this plan we saw there are equal amounts to be invoiced to the consumer on a particular date, which is a fixed date as 25th. Now, when the invoice is sent to the consumer, that time also in the invoice there's a information given. That means how you have to pay the budget billing amounts. So yesterday we did not see the print preview, so today we will see. So go to ES31 and then our particular installation for the division 60, 229. Billing periods document. This is the document. So this is the invoice you prepared for the December month billing, and the amount to be received is 7656. This amount also you have received, we have done the incoming payment. But now if you see the print preview, in the print preview we can see the amount to be paid by the consumer for the month of December. But apart from that, it is also printing information here saying for the new billing period, budget billing amounts including sales tax. Okay, so here it is saying for the new billing period, budget billing period, uh, amount including sales tax equivalent to 9,934 has to be paid. Okay, and the budget billing amounts are due on 25th 01 2020. Like that, every month it is saying the amounts are due. Okay, so that means the customer is informed that for this month, based on the consumption billing, you are supposed to make the payment for 7,656. But for the future month onwards, starting from the January, you have to pay the amount of basically the 9,394, including the tax. It is including the tax. Okay. So in the print preview, you can see when the invoice is prepared, it is informed to the customer. That means customer already kept informed from the next month, the budget billing will start. And the budget billing amounts have been calculated in the budget billing plan. So if you go to display document and see the budget billing plan, so you can see starting from 25th of January onwards, every month on the same date on or before, we have to prepare the budget billing invoice and the amount is 9,394. And right now, every item in the billing document, in plan document it is showing item is open. Okay, basically it is saying item is open. That means it is not yet been invoiced. Okay, so this is also a kind of a FICA document. Budget billing plan is also a kind of a FICA document. What it is being prepared here. Now come back. Now if you go to FPL9, FPL9. Yesterday we have seen there is no amount due from the contract account holder because all amounts have been paid by the contract account. So 5301 is our contract account. So 5301, let me see, ES31 229 5401. So FPL9 5409. The amount has been already received, so there is no due amount. So our fresh posting will happen in the month of the January. So from January onwards, we are not supposed to do any metering, any billing. We start doing the budget billing. But one important thing is the budget billing has to be done on or before 25th of each month. Now currently we are on 21st, so we can do the billing. But the date when you prepare, well, the date which is due will be 25th. So while preparing the invoice, we have to enter the date as what is the due date. Okay. Now, budget billing invoice can be created for single contract account, or you can also do mass processing. That means in the case of single invoice, we are creating invoice for a particular contract account. But in the case of the budget billing, we can also prepare the mass processing. At a time, we can create the invoices for n number of contract account holders. So now let us see how we can prepare single invoice. Go to contract account, so go to invoicing and then go to execute invoicing, individual processing, create partial bill. Okay, create partial bill. Document date is today. The system is providing the reconciliation key. That means in some cases, reconciliation key is provided by the system, like in mass processing, in the automatic clearing. But in some cases, we have to enter. But in this case, it is giving a reconciliation key. Also, in the case of mass processing, also it will give a reconciliation key. But you can always override it. If you don't want to use it, you can use simple your own reconciliation key. So I will just maintain reconciliation key as L91. Easy to remember. Now contract account is 5401. Selection date here it is given 21. So you can make it as 25/01/2020. The due date by which the budget billing invoice has to be prepared. So you enter the contract account and then execute. Now reconciliation key is not existing. Use it. Now partial budget bill run is completed. So display the document. So it has prepared the invoice for 9,394. That's the amount what he has to actually invoice for the consumer. So the contract is 229 and the contract account is 5401 and the amount to be received from the contract account holder is 9,394. Go to the preview. So it is saying you are going to pay an amount of 9,334, which is inclusive of tax. Okay, that means in that the tax is included as 854. That means when the plan was prepared, the amounts were created taking the amount inclusive of tax. But now that we are invoicing the consumer, we are informing your amount is including with the tax, that is 854. So the actual net amount will be 9394 minus 854. 854 has to go to the government. Now again it is saying for the new billing period, it is saying 2501, 2502. That means in every invoice it is telling your amount will be 9,394 till 25/11/2020. Because again in the December 2020, the metering will happen on 30th of the December. So that means budget billing will start with the previous month being the metering and billing, and it will conclude again with the metering and billing in the concluding month. Okay, in between there's no metering and billing. So now how this invoice has been posted. So as far as the invoice posting is concerned, it is basically exactly like consumption billing. That means there are contract account items and the GL items. Okay. So basically in FICA document, so far what we have seen, there are two types of items. Okay. One is called the BP and the contract account items. other is the GL items. So basically in every FICA document what we have seen, you have got two types of items: BP, contract account items, and then you got GL items. In the case of regular invoice, what we have seen, we used to have BP and the contract account items and also GL items. In the same way, the invoice here is also posted. Why I'm emphasizing this point is, in the case of statistical budget billing, there will be only BP and contract account items. There will not be any GL items. Now, if GL items are there, then only we have to transfer the data from FICA to FI. Okay. So every time what we're doing, we have a reconciliation key. We close the reconciliation key so that system will summarize the GL account value and then we send it to the financial accounting. But if suppose there are no GL items, then there is no need to send the data to financial accounting. So in this particular case, there are two FICA documents will be created. Regularly, when you create budget billing invoice, we are posting the invoice. So invoice is posted into FICA, and end of the day, all the FICA documents will be summarized, and then we send it to financial accounting. But again, the consumers will make the payment in the future for the budget billing invoice, let's say after 5 days or 10 days. Again, we enter the incoming payment, and when the incoming payment is entered, it will again post a FICA document, and then you transfer it to FI. That means, just like consumption billing, there will be two transfers happening to financial accounting. When the invoice is prepared, all the invoices are posted into FICA, and from FICA, we are transferring the data to financial accounting. Again, in the future, whenever the payments will come, we enter the incoming payment, which is again a FICA entry, and then the FICA document is posted, and then we consolidate everything and send it to financial accounting. So it is happening in the same pattern. So if you go to the FICA document, display documents, this is the contract accounting document, partial bill. Okay. So here it has generated two level items: the business partner contract account item, where the contract account has been debited with the amount of 9,394 using the sub transaction 0120. Okay. That means here, in the case of budget billing, there are no internal sub transactions. Whereas in the case of consumption billing, we had internal sub transactions 0020 and 0010. Okay. That means in the case of our regular consumption billing, 0100 0002 external main transaction is assigned to 0100 plus 0020, because 0020 is the internal sub transaction, which is basically summarized debit to contract account. Summarized debit to contract account. But in the case of the budget billing, SAP has not given any internal sub transaction. So that's why you are declaring the sub transactions for debit and credit. I'll show you that in the separate setting what is given. So using 120, it is going to debit the contract account 9,934, and then because you are debiting to contract account, it has to debit the reconciliation account. So there is a reconciliation account 140030, and we have two GL items. One is the energy account, that is 8,520,000, and one is the tax account. So our amount is including with the tax. Tax has been separated very much in the beginning itself. When the billing happens, the tax has been separated, GL accounts have been determined. So in the future, when the data is transferred to financial accounting, tax is credited and the energy account is also credited. Now, for this particular invoice, the consumer will make the payment. Now, if you see the plan in the original plan document, initially the first item was open, but now the invoice has been prepared, it has been cleared. Okay. So if you go to the, and also here it has prepared the account balance. If you see FPL9, it has debited the amount to 5401. So a fresh open item has been prepared, 9,394. This is amount is due on 25th of January. We can enter the incoming payment. And if you go to the budget billing plan, okay, statistical partial budget billing, display the budget billing plan for the contract account. So our plan document here is 20042. Here you can see the first item has been turned into green. That means item has been cleared. Okay. That means from the plan we have converted the item into the invoice. So it has been cleared. Okay. Cleared in the sense this is like a FICA document. It was a due amount. We have prepared the invoice. Okay. So it will indicate item is cleared. It doesn't mean it is like an open item which is cleared. Okay. So open item payment will be issued from the consumer. So we can go to the FPCD, that is basically the payment entry 6,000, contract account is 5401 2101 2020, reconciliation key L90 and currency INR. So here our amount due amount is 9,394. So this is the amount consumer make the payment 9,394. And all these documents will be posted to financial accounting. End of the day, we consolidate all the FICA documents which have been prepared and then aggregate the data and then transfer the data to financial accounting. So there are two occasions on which the posting will happen to FICA. When you prepare the invoice, data is going to financial accounting because there are contract account BP items and the GL items. Whenever GL items are there, it is basically called the FICA posting happening into financial accounting. But if there's no general ledger items, only BP items, then there's no need of any posting into FICA document. That will happen in the case of statistical posting. Okay. So in FICA, there are some postings which are called statistical. So basically, statistical posting means the contract account is posted statistically, but there's no GL item. Okay. Statistical posting means basically if it is a open item, it will show as a statistical open item. That means it is not strictly open item, but only when you select all items, it will show the statistical item as open item. Whenever there is a statistical item, the amount will be shown to only contract account. There won't be any GL item. That means you are not transferring any data to financial accounting. So it is not going to affect our P&L statement, okay, profit and loss statement, because you're not posting any GL item. But the amount what you're posting to contract account will be helpful in terms of tracking the receivable. Also, it is a part of dunning, interest calculation. All those things will happen, okay. In the case of the statistical budget billing, in the case of statistical budget billing, we are going to see how the statistical posting will happen, okay. Now, what is the feature of the statistical budget billing? What is the feature of the statistical budget billing? In what way it is different? Okay, there are some similarities, but there are also some differences. Okay, so what are the differences and the comparison? We will see. So first, let us see at the comparison part. Okay, where how do they compare? Okay, so partial budget billing and then statistical budget billing. What is the comparison? Here also there will be budget billing plan. Here also budget billing plan will be there. Here the budget billing amount is including the tax, is inclusive of tax. Same thing here also. That means when the plan is created, it is same. Then, I mean, these two are comparison, no meter reading, and billing. Based on meter reading, same here also. That means when the budget billing period is on, let's say from January onwards, we are doing the budget billing till November, there's no meter reading and billing. Same thing will happen also in the case of statistical. Now, these are the comparisons, okay? Now differences, where the differences will happen. Okay, where the difference will happen. Now differences are as follows. In the case of partial budget billing, when the plan is prepared, plan amounts are not transferred. Plan amounts are not transferred to contract account. Are not transferred to contract account. So you have seen right now in the budget billing we have got 11 items, but they were not reflected in the contract account. The budget billing amounts are shown only in the budget billing plan, but amounts are not posted to the contract account. Only when you prepare the invoice, that means you are making a debit entry for the particular month when the invoice is prepared, then the amount is reflected. Right now, if you are seen in the contract account open items, we are not seeing any future billing items. Only when you invoice the budget billing invoice for the particular day, for the particular month, the amount is posted to contract account. But in the case of statistical budget billing, when the plan is prepared, when plan is prepared, when the plan is prepared, when the plan is prepared, all the budget billing items, all the BB items are posted to contract account, are posted to contract account statistically, are posted to contract account statistically. Okay. That means if there are 11 amounts, it will post as a debit entry to contract account, but this is not a regular posting. That means if it is actually posted to contract account, it should become receivable. But in the case, in this particular case, all the amounts are posted as statistical. That means, strictly speaking, it is not an open item, but it is reflected in the contract account statistically. So if you go and see in the open item, it will not show as an open item. But if you see in the all items, it will show the statistical item. That means while preparing the budget billing plan itself, all the amounts are transferred. Then why the amounts are transferred? What's the reason? Because in the case of budget billing, every month we prepare the budget billing invoice. We prepare the budget billing invoice. Like just now what I did, based on the due date 25th of January, I prepared the invoice. A fresh debit happened to contract account based on which payment will be made. But in the case of and also here the customer is making the payment by the cash desk. They can make the payment by cash desk. They can make the payment from the internet banking, net banking, or they can make the payment through credit card. Okay. So all these options will be available. But actually statistical budget billing has been designed for direct debit. Okay. Although here we cannot do direct debit because we don't have the payment method configured, we are going to enter the payment as usual, cash desk, to understand how the process will happen. But actually, the statistical budget billing method is also called budget billing request. So what they do, whenever there is a statistical budget billing for the contract account, for the several contract accounts, there will be budget billing amounts to be collected every month. Okay. So they run a payment run, which is called direct debit. Based on the direct debit processing run, automatically system will transfer all the due amounts to the contract account holder's bank. Okay. So usually here, the consumer is not going to make the payment directly. The payment will come from the bank itself. So the consumer can mention the particular bank to which every month the utility company has to forward the bills, and then the utility company will be paid directly by the bank by deducting the amount in the contract account holder. That is called direct debit. Okay. So it comes through payment method which FICA will configure. So it's called a direct debit entry kind of an invoice. That means you prepare the statistical postings, and then when the statistical posting happens, there are only BP items, statistical, no GL items. So there's nothing to be transferred to financial accounting. Every month they do the payment run and the amounts are transferred to budget billing amounts are transferred to particular month to bank, and bank will make the payment. But when this payment is entered, it is treated as a down payment because you don't have any item which is to be cleared. So the amount is entered into the contract account as a advance payment. It's something called, not actually in this case advance amount, it's called as basically a kind of a down payment account. So down payment account will be shown in the contract account as an open item. So every month we receive the payment from the bank. In this case, we are going to have the cash desk payment. The amount will be shown as an open item, basically basically a down payment. When the budget billing is over, we will prepare the final invoice. That time it will have the total amount to be collected from the contract account minus the sum total of the budget billing what we already received as a down payment. The rest of the amount consumer has to pay, or if you have collected more than what is actually due, we will return back the amount to contract account. So every month we get the payment from the bank and it will be shown as a down payment amount. So basically in this particular case, the invoice is not required to be prepared. We are directly sending the information to the bank for making the payment collection. So you require what is the due amount you have to collect from the bank. That's the reason the moment budget billing plan is prepared, all the amounts are transferred to contract account as open items, but statistical open items. They are not actually receivable. But here we are not preparing any invoice and send it to customer. The customer need not go to the bank, need not go to the cash desk and make the payment. The payment can come from the bank. But here, since we cannot have the FICA settings available for the direct debit, we are going to have the payment entered again as usual, the cash desk payment. But when the payment is entered, it will be treated as a down payment. So in the case of statistical budget billing, the process is like this. We have a plan prepared already. Plan is available. Every month we prepare a budget billing request. Okay. We don't call it as partial budget billing. We call it as budget billing request. When the request document is prepared, no fresh posting happens to FICA. No fresh posting to FICA because you already done the posting in the plan itself. When the plan is prepared, all the amounts are transferred to contract account. So when the budget billing request is prepared, it is basically to recognize the due item to be sent to the bank or otherwise the consumer. So no fresh posting to FICA. That means no posting to contract account. But when the payment is received, okay, incoming payment is received, that time a FICA document is posted, which you transfer it to financial accounting. So the only time financial accounting posting will happen is when the payment is received. And that payment what you receive is called as down payment. Okay, it's called as down payment. So you have the down payment GL account and the bank account. Okay, but there is one important thing here. In the case of budget billing partial, we saw when the invoice is prepared and posted, then and there the system separated what is the net amount and tax amount. But in the case of statistical budget billing, we are not preparing actually invoice posting to contract account. It's only a budget billing request document. So no FICA document. But when the customer makes the payment, which is a down payment, or the bank will make the payment, it's called down payment. We transfer the down payment information to financial accounting. That time system will separate what is the tax amount to be prepared or what is the tax amount to be collected from the contract account. So there is a balancing account which is called offsetting entry for the tax. So when you do the process, you will understand. So how the amounts are balanced. The down payment account is balanced with the bank account. Tax account is credited, but you have to balance the GL account posting. So there's a tax offsetting entry GL account. So here there's no account determination in the main transaction and the sub transaction, but you have to maintain the GL account determination for the down payment and also tax offsetting entry. Okay, so those are the only two important GL account determination. But in this case, we have to maintain a separate main transaction, sub transaction. So what is the main transaction? What is the sub transaction? We will see now. So and first invoicing level, there is no separate configuration because document type is already maintained. document is already assigned with the number range. So there's nothing to be done in the invoicing level. We have the invoicing document type as BB, which we are going to use for the statistical posting. And the document type has been already maintained and number range is already maintained. Only setting is required in FICA now. So go to IMG and then go to financial accounting new and then contract accounts receivable and payable, basic functions, go to the posting and documents and the document. Maintain document assignments. So here we have got maintain main transactions, maintain sub transaction. But here in the maintain sub transactions, you will see one additional setting also here in the maintain transactions for ISU. Here there is one special setting, maintain sub transactions for budget billing. Okay, maintain sub transactions for budget billing. So what is this? I'll explain. So if you go to maintain main transaction, yesterday we have used the main transaction as 0051, but here it is 0052. 0051. The main transaction is 0051. That is, sorry, 50. The 50, 51, 52. Yeah. So main transaction is 50, which is statistical procedure. Okay. So 0050 is statistical procedure, and 51 is the partial budget billing, and 52 is the payment plan. Okay. So in our case, at this moment of time, the main transaction is going to be 0050. Okay. And for 0050, we have got the sub transactions. So application area R 0050. So we have got budget billing, statistical budget billing, and then 120, 140, 120, 110. Okay. Then we have got transfer posting and then budget billing payment. Okay. There are some additional, okay, sub transactions here. Now, what is this transfer posting? I'll explain. That means transfer posting means when the budget billing is concluded, the amounts are transferred, which is held as down payment to contract account, and it will be adjusted with the actual amount due. Okay, that means all the amounts every month you're receiving is kept as down payment, but when the budget billing period is over, you will do again metering and billing. You do the actual invoice. That time you come to know what is the amount you should have collected. Compare it with the budget billing amount what you already collected as a down payment. So that down payment amount is adjusted for clearing the due item which is generated because of the metering and billing. And if any balances are there, it will be debit or credit. Okay. So I'll just give you example. Let's say every month we are preparing budget billing invoice for 9,000. So every month consumer is making payment 9,000. That is treated as down payment. Okay. So like this, for 11 months, we are selecting 9,000 rupees. This much amount is lying as an open item, credit item, that is 99,000. Okay. So it will be shown as down payment in the contract account, which is an open credit, Just like you have got open debit, which is to be receivable, open credit means you have to pay to the consumer. Okay. So this amount is lying in the contract account as down payment, contract account, down payment, open credit. Now, after the 12th month metering and billing and invoicing we have done, we come to know based on the actual consumption, the customer should have paid an amount of basically 1,01,000. Okay, 1,01,000. But when the final invoice is prepared, that time the transfer posting will happen. Against this actual amount which is to be received from the contract account, the 99,000 will be adjusted, which is already lying in the contract account as open item. That means the balance amount is what customer has to pay. Okay. Or if suppose once you do the final metering and billing, we come to know the amount is 97,000 minus 99,000. So the balance amount will remain as an open credit, which you have to pay to the contract account or adjust in the future debit items. That means the amount what you keep on receiving every month is transferred to financial accounting, but it is held in the contract account level as a down payment, as an open credit. Okay. When the budget billing periods are concluded, we prepare the actual metering and billing invoice we come to know what is the amount you should have collected based on the actual consumption. And that amount will be adjusted with the down payment and the balance will be adjusted. That's the reason we are maintaining here transfer sub transactions. But at the moment we require 120, 110, and then one blank item for preparing the plan document. So these main transactions, sub transactions have to be assigned to our company code along with the division. Okay. Now here maintain sub transactions for budget billing. Okay. This is an additional setting what SAP has given. What is the purpose here? In this IMG activity, you maintain the debit credit indicators for the sub transactions for receivable and payment request for the budget billing amount. So receivable is called partial budget billing. Payment request is called budget billing request. That is in the case of statistical. Now 0050 is statistical procedure, and then 0051 is debit entry, that is a budget billing. 0052 is a budget billing amount payment plan. Okay, so there is something called payment schema also, but it's not very widely used. It is also possible to use that method, but we are discussing only partial budget billing, statistical, and payment plan. Okay. Now in this case, because there are no internal sub transaction for the sub transaction, we are going to maintain the position debit and credit. Okay. So if we select here for the main transaction 0050 110, it is marked as credit. It is marked as credit. And in the case of 0120, you have marked it as debit. Okay. That means the contract account will be debited with the sub transaction 0120, and then sub transaction 00110 is the credit. Okay. But this is not required in consumption billing because you have got the internal sub transaction. In the case of budget billing, there are no internal sub transaction. That's the reason. So it's actually FICA matter. You don't have to get deep into internal sub transaction because that's purely FICA. But why this step is given, I'm just trying to explain. Okay, that means there's no internal assignment of the internal transaction. That's the reason we are giving the position for the debit and the credit. But here, in the case of partial budget billing, what happened? When you prepared the invoice, the actual amount was debited. Okay, we saw when you prepared invoice today for the month of January, the 9,934 was actually debited to contract account. So the 0120 marked as debit. But in the case of statistical budget billing, it will be as a statistical posting, debit entry, statistical posting. So how it will happen, we will see. So first now you have to maintain transactions for billing. So you have to copy from an existing company code, 0001, or you can copy from any company code where all these settings are maintained. So here I'm not copying from 0001 because it was not maintained with the sub transaction for the plan item. That's why I'm selecting one of the other company code. Let's say 3000. Okay, we can select 3000. Division is 30, and then main transaction 0050. Okay, so you can select all these lines which are available to our company code. It is going to be 6000 and then 60, 6000, 60, 6000 and 60. So we are transferring all the main transactions sub transaction to the company code. Now save it. Now here you can see the comparison. Now here we have got 120 and 110. But how the assignment has been done with regard to the posting. Okay. Now if you see in the case of partial budget billing, how it is maintained. If you see company code is 6060, main transaction 0051, that's partial budget billing. In 120, you can see it is marked as direct debit. Okay, it's a not direct debit, sorry, it's a debit transaction. That means Because 0120 has been declared as a debit entry always, the amount what you prepared every month will be debited to contract account. Just now we saw 9394 was debited to contract account. Okay. So there's no separate sub transaction. Using 0120 itself, it will do the debit. Okay. It's the actual debit. That's how you saw in the open item, the amount was shown as 9,394. Okay. And this is for the offsetting entry or the credit posting. Okay. So this is for credit. Now, if you see in the case of statistical budget billing, how it will show, company code is 6000, division is 60, main transaction 0050. That is the statistical budget billing. And over here, if you see, it is having, if you go to 120, if you go to 120 and then see here, it is showing debit entry, but statistical key with the statistical key P. So there are some statistical items here like down payment request, quotation, cash security deposit, installment plan item, collective bill, budget billing plan item. Okay, you can see here budget billing plan item. That means when we prepare the plan for the budget billing, like in the case of regular partial billing also, there will be a plan document. The plan document will contain the equal amounts. So all the plan items are debited to contract account statistically. The moment plan is posted or saved, all the amounts are transferred to contract account as a statistical item, budget billing plan items. Okay. That means here 120 is also acting as a debit entry, but it is not a real posting. That means there's no need to maintain any GL account determination because this is a statistical posting. Okay. So it is shown as P. The debit entry, it is P. Okay. So that means when you prepare the budget billing plan, the plan is prepared, all the BB items are posted to contract account statistically. Okay. Level amounts will reflect in the contract account, but not as an open item, but statistically open item. Okay. If you go to open item SPL9 list, it won't show. But if you select all items, it will show these amounts are available in the contract account to be received. The reason why you're transferring is because you're not going to prepare the regular invoice. We are already informed the consumer every month you have to make the payment. So when the payment is received, we transfer the payment to financial accounting. So when you prepare actually budget billing plan, that time itself the amounts are transferred. Okay. So this is how the position is given here. And because of this, there is no account determination for the main transaction, account determination for the sub transaction. But account determination you have to maintain for down payment. That means when the payment is received from the contract account, it has to be posted to financial accounting. So a down payment GL account has to be determined. So we have to maintain a down payment GL account determination. Go to define account assignment for the automatic posting. Okay. So go to automatic GL account determination. And then here you can see maintain or define the accounts for budget billing down payments. Okay. So what is the down payment? In this activity, you assign the corresponding main and sub transaction to accounts for received budget billing amounts together with the company code and the division. That means every month we are going to receive the amount. That amount will be treated as a budget billing. You only need to perform this activity if we choose statistical budget billing. Okay. So this particular account determination is applicable only if you are deploying the statistical budget billing, not otherwise in any other method of budget billing. So continue with this. Our chart of account is INT. And then here the GL account is 170012. Now we have to see whether this GL account is available in our company code. Go to FS00170012. So it is available. And then control data, contract account receivable. It is a reconciliation account, and then it is already available. So I can assign this particular GL account to my company code and the division. You can copy any company code and then assign for 120 and 120, 110. So I can select here also 3000 model company code. Select the particular line, single copy. In our case, our company code is 6000, division is 60, ID for account determination is 60, 0050, 110, down payment, save it. Similarly, the amount has to be, GL account has to be given for 120. Single copy, everything remaining same, 0, 120. It is 170012 and then save it. Okay. So only GL account determination required is for the down payment account. No main transaction GL account, no reconciliation account determination, no sub transaction GL account determination. Okay, because we are doing statistical posting. Now, whenever you are using the down payment, when the payment is transferred to financial accounting, that time the tax is determined. Unlike in the case of partial budget billing, the moment to save the invoice, tax was determined. You saw it. 9,394 was split into two items, net amount and the tax amount. Tax amount GL account was determined. But here you are not posting any invoice every month. The tax is not available. So when the incoming payment will come, we transfer the incoming payment down payment to financial accounting. That time system will split the tax amount, what you have to pay to the government. So let us assume we have done the transfer to statistical posting. We have received a down payment of 9,094. When you transfer to FI, how the posting will happen in FI? 9,394 is credited to down payment account, and then 9,394 is debited to bank clearing account, So this will balance out, okay? Down payment is balanced with the bank account. But tax amount is also determined now. Let's say tax amount is 894. 894 is credited to the tax account, 1,25,000 as usual. But now how do you balance it? Okay, because this is minus, this is plus, so this is balancing. Okay, but what about this? This is now a minus credit entry. Unless you balance it, you cannot post. Okay, so now we will have 894 debited to a tax offsetting entry GL account. Tax offsetting GL account. So we have to maintain here a tax offsetting GL account for the down payment account. Then only the accounting document will be balanced. So we have to maintain one more account determination, which is called tax offsetting entry. So here you can see define the accounts for down payment tax posting. Okay, that means it is applicable only in the case of budget billing. Select it. So for the company code 3000170012 is our down payment, and 170010 is the tax offsetting entry. So we will see whether this GL account is available. Go to FS00 and then take this particular thing. It's already available. Okay. So tax payable clearing account. Okay, down payment account, tax clearing account is available. So we can copy this particular line and then maintain it as our company code 6000, and then here it is going to be 61. Our tax code is 61, and then 170010 and then save it. Okay. So here account determination, only two account determination. One is a down payment account determination, one is a tax offsetting entry. So how this account determination will happen, you will see practically when you prepare the invoice and the payment collection. Okay, because the statistical posting is new to us, so only after you run the process only you can understand. But these are the settings what FICA will do for in terms of posting the request and also payment entry. Okay, so these are the configurations what are required. As you can see, it is all in FICA only. Okay, now as far as the end user application is concerned, we have to create now new contract account where we will see our budget billing procedure will be statistical. So for the same business partner, I will create one new contract account, copy it from 5401. So go to CAA1, business partner 261, the account category 60, and then we will copy from the existing contract account for the company code group 6000. You can select anyone, You can also select 5401. Everything remaining same. In the general data, here we are going to select the budget billing procedure as 1 statistical procedure. We're going to select it as statistical procedure and then save it. So new contract account 5402 has been prepared, which will permit us to do the, okay, not, we did not create, I think, correctly. We'll see. So once again, we'll create CAA1 contract account referred to 5401 payment and taxes Dunning. In the general data, we are going to maintain budget billing procedure as statistical, okay, and then save it. So contract account 5403 has been prepared, okay. So if you go to CAA2 5403, it is having the budget billing procedure as 1, that is the statistical, okay. So our new contract account is 5403. 5403. Now our MR unit will remain the same because again our due date is 25th. We'll maintain due date as 25th. So we don't have to create new portion in MRU. We can use the existing one. So you can prepare a new installation, keep it ready. So tomorrow when you do the move-in, we'll do the first metering and billing, and then we will prepare the budget billing process. Okay. So now if you go to ES31, existing installation 229, where we have used the particular MR rate as 60-3-1. So present installation is 229 and it has got a premise as 202. Okay. So we'll prepare one new premise, go to technical master data, premise, create. We will copy it from 202 and then save it. So our new premise is 203. 203 is the premise. So of 203 premise, we will prepare the installation. Go to ES31, ES30, prepare the fresh installation, due date, and then division is 60. And we can copy from the existing installation 229. It is 229 and then continue. Change the premise to 203. Okay, 203. And our existing rate contract will remain the same and the amount is 60-3-1 and now save it. So now our new installation has been prepared as 230. Installation is 230. Do the device installation for this. So we will go to EZ31, prepare the installation. Installation is 230. Activity date 2019, new device. $886, $87, $888 is available, but it is all ESTO. So let's try with $897. Device location 90. Activity reason is installation extension. Meter reading is 0. I will use the same periodic consumption so that you can compare with the statistical budget billing and the partial budget billing 30. And the rate type is Z600 and then save it. So our, this thing is already prepared. The device installation is already prepared. Now we can do the move-in and the contract will be prepared. So go to EC50E. Again, we will do the move-in in the month of December 1st. Okay. So in the December, we can do metering and billing. From January, statistical budgeting will happen. Okay. So move-in date is 1st of December 2019. And the new contract account what you created is 5403, and our new installation what you prepared is 230. Okay, installation is 230. Now here also we will see a tab which is going to show budget billing plan. Okay, budget billing plan. That means the budget billing plan tab will show if provided there are two prerequisites satisfied. Portion is allowing the budget billing and the contract account is having the budget billing procedure. Okay, but we are not preparing any plan from here. Only after the first invoice it will prepare. ID for account determination is 60 and initial metering is 0 as the time of moving, and then save it. It is trying to create a budget billing plan, but we will not save it. We will go for the, do you want to save? No. And then prepare the welcome letter. So an application form is prepared, output device, continue, and then print. So we have done the moving in the month of December. So the first metering billing will happen in the month of December, and from January we will start with the budget billing. But here, when the invoice is prepared for the December, just like partial budget billing, a plan document is prepared and we inform the customer from the month of January onwards, every month you have to pay a fixed amount of 9,394 as per the due date 25th. But when the plan is created, what effect will happen? That is what we want to see. And here, how the statistical budget amounts are going to be collected. So that I will show you tomorrow. So we have prepared today the contract. Contract is ready. So tomorrow we'll do the business process. So we can see the contract is prepared 231. So the first budget billing period is starting from 1st of December. Okay. So we have done the contract. Tomorrow we will see the process. So statistical budget billing is slightly different from the partial budget billing. Only when you run the process you will understand, okay, how difference will happen between the partial budget billing and statistical. And usually it is also called direct debit process because here the amount is fixed. So in the partial budget also amount is fixed, but the reason why it's called direct debit entry is like you can use the payment method in FICA where payment method is direct debit. That means customer can authorize because customer already knows every month they are going to pay 9,394. So they don't have to wait for the invoice. They can go to the budget billing, basically the direct debit request to the utility bank. So utility will give a form. You have to fill it up and then say, we will allow you to draw the money directly from our account in the bank, and amount is limited to 9,394 because you know in advance every month amount is going to be 9,394. And same way we will authorize the bank to pay the amount of 9,394 every month as and when the invoice is as and when the details are submitted to the bank from the utility company. Then utility company will bank will transfer the amount to utility company. But that is a separate process altogether. But here we are not involving the bank. We are making the direct payment through the cash desk. Understand the process of the down payment account. Okay. So tomorrow we will see how to go ahead with the remaining process. Then we start discussing on the payment plan, which is the third method of budget billing. So we can conclude for today. Tomorrow we'll continue. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.